You hear a lot about the positives of fat loss, but nobody seems to tell you about the caveats, the cons, or the negatives about it. And believe me, there are. There are a lot of cons about being on a fat loss or a fitness journey. So let me get one thing straight. Improving your fitness, improving your body composition, improving your health, adopting a diet which obviously makes you feel healthy, and going to the gym and exercising regularly is all good. There's no cons, there's no downsides about that, especially when it comes to your health. And I'd actually promote the fact that everybody who's watching this and everybody who's not watching this should do so. But with every pro, there is a con. You've always got to give a little to get a little. You've got to pay to play. I'm going to stop with the idioms now and just carry on. But there is a con with every pro. So I'm about to tell you exactly what a lot of people don't want to tell you or don't bother telling you about a fitness journey or about a fat loss journey. So first things first, and this is the big one, it's going to require effort. You cannot just sit there and lose fat without putting in any effort. Well, technically you can. You can just sit there and then eat nothing all day. But ultimately, that, even though that will cause you to lose fat, you'll feel pretty shit about it. But when it comes down to it, you need to be putting in some sort of effort in order to actually get results, which is where the term "don't get frustrated at the results that you're not getting from the work that you're not doing" actually comes into play. You need to put some level of effort and some level of action into getting the results that you need to get. Now, you can make this easier for yourself. And the way that you can make this easier for yourself is create a workout routine and adopt a diet in which the effort that you need to put in is more than worth the results that you're going to get. That's how you make it easier, but when it comes down to it, you still need to actually put in a bit of effort, which actually leads on to the second one. Now, the second point that people don't tell you is it can be difficult. Think of it like this: when you are creating a calorie deficit, what you're essentially doing is you're depriving your body of the calories or the energy that it needs to function in its regular day-to-day life. You are literally starving yourself. That is literally what it is. And so you can sugar wrap it as much as you want. You can say, oh, you're not starving yourself, you're just reducing the energy intake. No, you're starving yourself. Fat loss is actually an evolutionary and defense response to not having enough energy to continue to function. So let's put it like this: if you're burning off 2,000 calories a day, but only eating 1,700 calories a day, you're going to be in a calorie deficit and you're going to lose fat. But the reason why your body loses fat is because it hasn't got 2,000 calories to do its regular day-to-day things. And therefore it needs to transfer that extra energy in which it needs from your fat stores. You're pushing your body into a point where it needs to generate, it needs to activate its defense mechanisms. And if you're causing your body to activate a defense mechanism, you're going to be putting it into an uncomfortable situation. Remember, losing fat is hard. It is difficult to do so. But being fat is also hard and difficult to do so, especially when it comes to your mental health or your confidence or just the way you look at life. Like, losing fat is hard to do, but being fat is hard to be. So there's no way at all that you can't make whatever decision you make to be not hard. You've got to choose which hard that you prefer. Do you prefer it being easy in the short term but hard in the long term? If so, continue to be fat. Or do you prefer it to be hard in the short term but easier in the long term? If so, start your fat loss journey. It's up to you which hard that you pick. Thirdly, your life is going to change in more ways than one. Sure, we can always pick all of the positive ways in which your life is going to change. You're going to be able to wear clothes which you want to wear rather than clothes which you need to wear. You're going to feel more confident, more sexy, more attractive. You're going to be able to do things which you cannot currently do now, such as walking up the stairs without your hands getting clammy, or walking to the shops without feeling out of breath, or wearing certain clothes which you've always wanted to wear, such as a short sleeve top or shorts or a tight dress, which you currently don't feel confident enough to wear. It'll allow you to probably feel more confident to date. It will probably make you feel more attractive overall. Happy days, all of these things are great, but your life may also change in more ways than none. For example, you might lose certain friends because you have gotten to the point in which you need to lose fat based on your habits, your behaviours and your environment. And more often than not, when you're in an environment which is ripe for bad behaviours, negative habits, and the cause of fat loss, let's say for example you're in a group of friends who all eat takeaways 4 times a week, who don't go to the gym, who don't stay active, who like 3 nights out a week, etc., etc., that is going to be ripe to cause you to get into a position where you do become overweight and do put on body fat and lose any kind of fitness you may have had initially. So if you're actually putting plans in place to separate yourself from that and start actually making progress towards feeling better about your appearance, feeling more confident, losing fat, putting on muscle, you are not adhering to that group's social norms, which means that you're probably going to start transitioning away from the mindset in which that group of friends has to a new one entirely. I've coached multiple people in the past who have actually told me that they have found new friends who are also into fitness, who also eat very well, who also like to go on walks, because they had to leave their old friendship group because they were more about eating whatever they want in sight and just doing fuck all day apart from sitting around scratching their balls every now and then. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, that's just a change. Also, one thing that you don't realise that would probably happen to you, your body is going to feel different. Granted, it might feel really different in a good way, but also just keep in mind that there's less of you. If you lose fat, there's going to be much, much less of you, which means that you're probably going to feel a little bit more cold, especially in the winter. If you're overweight in the winter, you could probably still get away with keeping shorts on because you've got a lot of body fat to keep you insulated. When you lose weight, that body fat is going to reduce downwards, which means you're probably going to be much, much colder in the winter. And finally, here's something that somebody doesn't really tell you about fat loss or fitness in general. It's a long game. It's not a short-term fix. Somebody doesn't just go to the gym and start eating well for a week and then they've made all the progress that they want. That just doesn't happen. It is a long game and it will take time. Even more specifically, there's a chance that you will never stop from now until the day that you die. Because once you get into the mindset of going to the gym and eating well and keeping active, that stays within you. You start adopting that as part of your regular lifestyle. Now, I'm not saying that you will continue to lose fat for the rest of your life, because there will be a certain point where you get to where you're actually happy with how you look, 100%. But this whole fitness shebang, these habits and behaviours that you adopt, they are going to be like a lifelong thing. You are not going to give them up easily, because you are always going to have certain goals that you want to work towards. It's something known as the hedonic treadmill. You will always be happy with what you achieve, but then your happiness will start leveling out because you always want to strive for the next goal. So it is a long game, it's a lifelong thing, this fitness shebang. And you need to be aware of that, because I don't want you in 2 months' time thinking, I've not made all the progress that I want, I'm just going to give up. Or even worse, I don't want you in 1 year's time saying, cool, I've made the progress that I want, now I'm just going to stop doing it, and then lose that year of progress. Because that will happen if you give up. If you stop doing what you need to do, all of the progress that you make will disappear. So once you start this journey, there's no stopping. It will get easier, 100%, it will get easier, it will get more streamlined, and it will just be a little bit more efficient. But what you need to understand is there's no end time for it. You are on this fitness journey now for life. These are some of the things that people do not tell you about a fitness journey or a fat loss journey, and I think more people should. Because let's be honest, I promote the fact that people should start a fitness journey. I promote the fact that people should get into the gym, start eating better and stay more active. But you just need to be a little bit aware that it is not all sunshine and rainbows. There are some cons, much like with everything in life, because I don't want you to be surprised, disappointed and frustrated a couple of months along the line. I hope that helps, and I hope that does make sense. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like. If you've got any questions for me, comment below and I'll be more than happy to answer. Alternatively, subscribe to this channel if you want to catch the next one. And if you want any free fat loss or fitness based content without any typical bullshit, with all evidence based facts and with a lot of confidence building and motivation, feel free to follow my Instagram at k.p_health. Have a good one.